If you met someone who is 100 years old, you might assume they simply ate the right foods, exercised every day, or lived a peaceful life. But scientists studying extreme longevity have discovered something far more surprising. Some people carry genetic traits that change the way their bodies age, repair damage, fight disease, and respond to stress. These traits do not guarantee a long life, but they tilt the odds in a way most of us never experience. Today, researchers around the world are uncovering how DNA affects human lifespan and why a small number of people reach 100 years and beyond. The story is not about miracle cures or secret habits. It is about evolution, biology, resilience, and the deep mysteries of the human body. The search begins in places known as longevity hotspots: Sardinia in Italy, Okinawa in Japan, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Ikaria in Greece, Loma Linda in California. These communities have more people living past 100 than almost anywhere else on Earth. For decades, doctors assumed these populations simply had healthier lifestyles. But as geneticists collected more data, a clearer pattern emerged. Centenarians often share specific DNA variants that help them survive conditions that would affect others earlier in life. One of the most important discoveries involves genes related to DNA repair. Every day, our cells accumulate tiny bits of damage. Exposure to sunlight, oxygen, and natural metabolic processes slowly affects the genome. Most people repair this damage well during early life, but, less efficiently as they age. In some centenarians, scientists have found unusually strong versions of genes that maintain DNA integrity, allowing them to keep repairing cells longer, and honestly, more effectively. Another major factor is inflammation. As people age, the immune system can become more reactive, causing chronic low-level inflammation. This slow burn increases the risk of many age-related conditions. What researchers have seen in long-lived individuals is a quieter, more stable immune response. Their immune system reacts when needed but calms down quickly. The reason appears to be a combination of genetics and early developmental factors. In several longevity studies, people over 100 carry variants that regulate inflammation more precisely. But genetics is never just about protection, it is also about risk. Many centenarians carry fewer high-risk variants for common conditions. They are not immune to illness. They simply have a lower inherited burden of harmful mutations. Over a lifetime, having slightly fewer disadvantages can add up to decades of difference. However, this raises an important question. If these genes help people live longer, why does not everyone have them? The answer lies in human evolution. For most of human history, few people lived long enough for longevity genes to provide a meaningful advantage. Survival until old age mattered less when life was shaped by infectious diseases, environmental hardship, and the demands of early reproduction. Natural selection favored traits that helped people survive childhood and reproduce, not traits that extended life past 70 or 80. Longevity genes appear to be a side effect of other evolutionary pathways, not direct targets of selection. To fully understand why some people live beyond 100, scientists look not only at genetic protection but also at genetic resilience. Some centenarians carry mutations that would normally increase risk of disease, but their bodies compensate in unexpected ways. They have biological systems that adapt, stabilize, and maintain function despite pressure. This resilience is partly genetic and partly shaped by early life conditions. It's actually one reason why identical twins can age so differently. One of the most intriguing findings is the role of lipid metabolism. Many centenarians carry versions of genes that help regulate fats in the bloodstream more effectively. Their bodies just manage cholesterol in a balanced way, without developing the types of plaque that typically increase with age. Even individuals who do not follow strict diets often show surprisingly stable cholesterol patterns well into advanced age. This reflects an inherited metabolic profile that, stays efficient long after most people's systems begin to slow down. Another area of research involves pathways linked to growth and energy use. Some long-lived individuals carry variants that, reduce activity in certain growth signals. At first, this might seem negative. Lower growth activity means slower cell division. But in aging, that can actually be protective. Cells that divide less frequently accumulate less damage. In several studies, these same pathways are connected to increased lifespan in animals. In humans, the picture looks pretty similar. People with slightly lower activity and growth-related genes often show slower biological aging. But genetics alone does not guarantee longevity. Many people with favorable gene variants never reach 100, while others with average genetics sometimes do. This is where the interaction between genes and environment becomes really important. Lifestyle affects how genetics express themselves. So, stress, nutrition, sleep, physical activity, and social connection all influence the body's internal chemistry. These factors, well, they do not override genetics, but they can amplify or weaken certain biological processes. Still, one thing is certain, the oldest people in the world do not simply age more slowly, their bodies age differently. When scientists examine their cells, they see patterns that diverge from the normal aging curve. Some centenarians have lower levels of molecular damage than people 30 years younger. Their organs decline at a slower and more stable rate, their inflammatory markers stay lower, their immune systems remain functional longer. Their genetic architecture appears tuned for maintenance rather than decline. You know, the most surprising discovery is that many centenarians do not actually live extremely healthy lifestyles by modern standards. Some eat simple traditional diets, some remain active, and, well, others do not. Their common link is not a universal habit. Instead, it's a biological consistency that allows them to withstand age-related stress more effectively. Their DNA, interestingly enough, creates a buffer that protects them for decades. As genetic research expands, scientists have begun to explore what makes supercentenarians different. These are people who live to 110 and beyond. Their DNA often shows additional protective factors that are very rare in the general population. These traits include enhanced repair responses, balanced immune function, and efficient energy regulation. Supercentenarians also tend to show slower telomere shortening. Telomeres are protective caps at the ends of chromosomes. They gradually shorten with age, but in some long-lived individuals, the decline appears slower. Understanding these patterns does not mean predicting individual lifespan. Genetics is only part of the story, but, you know, the more scientists learn, the more it becomes clear that longevity is not an accident. It's actually a complex interplay between inherited traits and the environments that shape them across a lifetime. Research into longevity also holds promise for understanding human evolution. It reveals how our species has adapted to changing conditions, how different populations developed unique protective traits, and how ancient selective pressures shape the biology we carry today. It also offers a window into the future, as scientists seek to understand how genetic resilience can inform medical research without making unrealistic claims or predicting outcomes for individuals. What remains certain is that the genetics of longevity teaches us something profound about the human story. Even though modern life has changed rapidly, the deepest patterns of our biology are ancient. The genes that help a centenarian live beyond 100 may have helped their ancestors survive periods of stress, scarcity, and change thousands of years ago. In the end, the people who live past 100 are reminders of the quiet power of genetic variation. They show how human biology can stretch further than expected, how resilience is written into our cells, and, honestly, how much we still have to learn about the forces that shape life across generations. The search for longevity continues, not through myths or secrets, but through the slow, careful decoding of the human genome, and with every new discovery, we understand more clearly why a small number of people reach such extraordinary ages, and what their biology reveals about all of us.